Good evening to everyone. I'm not going to take up too much of your folks' time. I'll be reading out of the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verses 1 through 5. I'm going to read and go through each verse and break each verse back down as I go. Please bear with me. I'm in the book of Psalms, chapter 15, verse 1 through 5. This is verse 1. O Jehovah, who may be a guest in your tent? Who may reside in your holy mountain? Verse 2. The one who is walking faultlessly, practicing what is right, and speaking the truth in his heart. Verse 3. He does not slander with his tongue. He does nothing bad to his neighbor, and he does not defame his friends. Verse 4. He rejects anyone who is contemptible, but he honors those fearing Jehovah. He does not go back on his promise, even when it is bad for him. And verse 5, he does not lend his money on interest, and he does not accept a bribe against the innocent. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. I'm in the book of Proverbs, chapter 15. I just read verse 1 through 5, so I'm going back over verse 1. I'm about to break it down as I go along. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, this is verse 1. O Jehovah, who may be a guest in your tent? Who may reside in your holy mountain? So that's a question being asked by David. You know, this is a melody from David. He asking the question, O Jehovah, who may be a guest in your tent? Who may reside in your holy mountain? So he's asking God a question, you know. So God's, in verse 2, God is giving back his reply to David. In verse 1, David is asked a question. In verses 2 through 5, God is giving his reply back to David. Question. He's answering it. So this is verse 2. The one who is walking faultlessly. Faultlessly means you're walking blamelessly. You know, like Job was, you know, at that time. He was the one that God favored the most, because Job did each and everything obediently and willingly by walking faultlessly. Even when he sinned, he always made sure he went out his way and asked for forgiveness for his sins and for his children and the whole family as well. And he blessed each and every one that was he encountered. So he was a blameless man by his actions and his way of life and manner of living. I'm still in verse 2. It's the end part of verse 2 though. Practicing what is right and speaking the truth in his heart. So you're practicing what is right. Like I say, you ain't perfect. You're going to stumble along the way. But at the same time, practice what is right, speaking the truth in his heart. So you're a man or woman. You practice what is right, and you're speaking the truth in your heart. Meaning you're not lying. You're always speaking the truth. You know, even when it hurts. Not only you or the other individuals that you're telling the truth, but speaking the truth too. So always be a truth seeker and teller and stand on it. And man, your heart be at so much peace and ease because you'll never have nothing to hide. Verse 3. He does not slander with his tongue. So he's not slandering with his tongue. That goes for every one of us. You know, you never be or become a slanderer. And if you once was, you know, you can always change that up, mix that up, dilute it, dissect it, destroy it, you know, manifest it, you know. Get rid of that mindset and take on the new and start being that way. So God don't like slanderers, especially if someone that's have your well-being in mind and heart and doing from you, like keep no receipts, never throwing it in your face, and you go behind that person back and slandering them, thinking that they're a fool or naive because they just have a good heart, and you never encounter individuals like that. Okay, God don't agree with that. This is the end part of verse 3. He does nothing bad to his neighbor. So you do nothing bad to your neighbor. never scheming no type of harm or anything like that on that person's life, occupation, anything like that. You always want good for your neighbor. Even if they don't want good for themselves, you just never have nothing bad to say, try to do behind somebody's back, anything like that. So you always want to tell your neighbor good things and build them up, not tear them down. This is verse 4. He rejects anyone who is contemptible. Rejects means throw away. He don't, you know rejection means, you don't have no more use for. You throw it away like garbage. You get rid of it. You dispose of it. So that's deep when God said he rejects anyone. Anyone who is contemptible. Contemptible means you're a person that you go out your way to tear down somebody's name or bring somebody down, reputation of character. That's a contemptible individual. I mean, they're real malice, spite, real hateful. So please don't develop that type of mindset, our heart. It will ruin you in the end. And God doesn't want anything to do with an individual like that. It's the end part of verse 4. But he honors those fearing Jehovah. It's the end part of verse 4. But he honors those fearing Jehovah. He does not go back on his promise, even when it is bad for him. So that's the end part. Honoring means you're worshiping out of love, out of obedience, and you really taking your God-given purpose seriously. And by you doing this and you carrying it out fully out of love, that's honor to your God. You know what I mean? Because you're trusting his word and you put faith in him and his word and you carrying it out daily. And fear means like, he can do anything to you, but no, the fear of God, the real fear is like, you don't want to do nothing you don't want to go out your way to do anything to displease him by hurting his feelings. He has feelings just like you. Okay. This is the end part of verse 4. Please bear with me, people. He does not go back on his promise, even when it is bad for him. So you don't go back on your word, If you made a vow to God, make sure you're going to uphold that vow, especially if it's voluntary. And it's sacred, it should be sacred, so uphold your word, even when you're tempted. Like say if you made a vow that you was going to abstain from sex for, let's say, a year, and you voluntarily did that, you're trying to change up and not be a fornicator no more. You want to really wait until God brings your kingdom spouse that you want and desire, and you're trying to live right. So you're gonna be tempted in each and every way, especially if you're usually having sex on a daily basis. So, but once you hold it together and you don't go back on that promise, God will continue to give you strength and help you along the way, because you're not going out your way. Even when you're tempted, you're not falling victim to it. So that's how you don't go back on your promise or word, even when it's bad for you, meaning that when what you prayed for that you're not going to do no more, when it comes to you 10 times stronger, you still don't fold. This is the end part, beginning part. This is verse 5. He does not lend his money on interest. So you don't lend your money on interest. It means, if somebody asks you to borrow something, if it's $10 or $5, then you get the same thing back. You're not then no interest won't because it's hard for a lot of people. A lot of people are not financially stable like most people are. So the ones that's getting along, then someone that's poor needs some money, and they come to ask you to borrow it, then just don't charge interest back. Just ask for the same thing, and God appreciates that because you're not greedy. This is the end part of verse 5. And he does not accept a bribe against the innocent. You don't accept a bribe against the innocent, anything like that, to harm the innocent, accept any type of behind the door money to do something that someone else in a high position wants you to do to an innocent individual that didn't deserve that. It's the end part of verse 5. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. So meaning you won't be shaken, you won't stagger, you won't totter. You're still on the right. You're still on the right track, course. This movement that you on, that God has you on. You know, you will obey and abide all those rules and regulations that God set up. So, like I said, in the book of Psalms, chapter 15, verses 1 through 5, when you get a chance, please go in and read it. You know, it was a question that David had. That he questioned God. He asked God about. Verse 1 is the question, and verses 2 through 5 is a reply from God back to David to his answer that he answered him. That he questioned him about. Who can remain in your gates and come near to you and have access to you and have your favor. That's basically what he asking. In so many words. So have you interpret it or view it or see it. Go to God in prayer, ask him to help you open up your mind, your heart, your spirit, and give you clarification, help you to comprehend and understand it in the way that he see fit, and that you will get a better understanding on it for yourself to help you along this journey, this spiritual journey that you're on. So when y'all get a chance, please go in the book of Psalms, chapter 15, verses 1 through 5. It's an honor. I enjoy doing this. Like I said, I'm living out my purpose. I'm showing up. Until we meet again, I love all y'all. Take care. Have a blessed night. Peace.